Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
boys and girls, welcome to another Sealess Sunday with my best friend, Villainous Red, and my other best friend, E-Man from E-Man World of Geek. This is Big Bad Evil Fett talking to you straight from California. We're going to talk about some movies this weekend and a couple television series, especially the one that I fell in love with called Fallout.
Fantastic. I fucking loved that show. I just finished it like earlier today with Mimi and her sister, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. How was your guys' week? How was everyone's week?
It's good. I mean, I forgot to put in as a topic because we didn't even talk about X-Men yet, too. How the last
X-Men 97.
Yeah, unless you want to say that.
Well, no, we can talk about it right now. Remember, this is the cornucopia day, so let's just throw stuff in and see what sticks to the wall.
Sure.
Hey, Ashton, do you want to join us? Do you want to jump in there, Ashton? Let me know. I'll send you a link. But we haven't had Ashton in a while. I want to introduce Ashton to Mike here.
Welcome, Ashton.
Ashton is the undisputed nerd, or is it the undisputed nerd? This is his channel. He'll let us know. Yeah, our boy from Trinidad Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I think E-Man has plans to go there, eat jerk chicken with him.
Did he say he wanted to jerk his chicken with him?
Unfortunately, I can't make it to Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to. Yeah.
Hi, Miss So. We love you.
Nation. Shit. I'm trying to send this over to another set of friends. Hold on.
Uh-oh. We're going to have all boxes filled up.
Yeah, let's have a little bit of fun, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
That's what we do at the Sealess Villains.
Of course. It's one of those days like, you know what? Let's go a little bit unhinged and you know, let's go upset
we don't go unhinged as it is. Like, oh my god, so like we're gonna go even worse. This is gonna be insane.
You know what I've noticed on social media?
And now the Christians is gonna be crazy.
What's the big deal with the different drawings of the characters from the original X-Men, the animated series, to X-Men 97? I see it all over social media that people are like comparing Nightcrawler to now Nightcrawler. What's the big deal? I don't get it. I don't understand it. We're gonna cry about one artist's rendition of a Carol. Yeah, I don't get it. And if you guys can explain it to me, or someone out there can explain it to me, what's the big deal about, you know, they're a little darker colored and little or whatever. I don't get it. It's one artist's drawing of a character. I don't
care. People are just, like you said, the people are just trying to complain about something. Rabble. Exactly. I don't care. Like, they changed the way Morph looks. He looked a little bit more masculine, and he sounded more masculine. And now his voice actor sounds a little more effeminate. He's got a little bit more of an androgynous look. I don't care, dude. It's Morph. Just give me a good show, and they're giving it to me. They changed the look. I don't care. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, story-wise has been excellent. I don't like the animation at all, but story-wise, and I'm impressed.
And isn't that what we all want? A good story. We really don't care how they draw it. I mean, I didn't like Frank Miller's fat, squatty Batman, but the story was great, so that's why I enjoyed it. So isn't that what we're looking for? Something story driven?
Exactly.
Hold on. Speaking of story, hold on. Here we go. Introducing into the stage, Mr. Ashton.
What's up? Everybody good?
What's up?
Everyone's good.
Chilling.
Hey, I'm going to be in your time zone. I'm going to be in your time zone in June, Ashton.
We're gonna be Jamaica or something? Or?
No, not Jamaica. I'm going to the Bahamas.
Bro.
I know. I'm going to the Bahamas and Grand Turk. But
Okay, nice. A cruise or like just a vacation?
cruise. So I'm going to be hitting Grand Turk, Nassau, and Coco Cay. So
Yeah, that makes sense. That
it's a
sounds like the cruise shots.
it's a short, only 5-day cruise because we're going to be doing 2 days at the Kennedy Space Center, taking the kids there in Florida. So that's going to be fun. But next year we're looking at like a proper Eastern or Southern Caribbean cruise, and I'm really trying to get into. I'm doing my best to try to get into Trinidad next year. Ashton, trust me. If I don't, then I'm going to be going over to Tahiti next year. But
Listen, here's
in
my advice.
2025,
My advice
uh,
is if you plan on coming to Trinidad, fly in. Don't come on no cruise. Right? So if you get a chance to do the transatlantic, which is the French Polynesian back to the States, or I think England or whatever, do that instead. That Tahiti cruise. I've done that. That one's nice.
oh, dude, that's a far cruise for me though. Like I'm already here on the West Coast. So going to Tahiti and then going to no, dude, that's like a 20-day cruise, and I'm not living large like that yet. I haven't won the Powerball just yet, actually. But if I do win the Powerball, I'm not telling anyone. However, there will be clues. You might see me in Tahiti, and then you might see me in Trinidad out of nowhere. So we'll see what happens, bro.
You might see Iman buying a real life transformer if he wins the lotto. That's all we know. You have a real life RC in the background somewhere.
It's gonna be a mech.
You won't, yeah. You guys, I'm not telling anyone if I won the Powerball, but there'll be clues. Just
Many clues.
Well, number one thing, your address will be changed, your phone number will be disconnected, and we'll never see you again.
Oh, no. The people in my circle will definitely still see me, and they're just not going to see me online. My online presence is going to be completely scratched. I'm gonna.
I'm shit on that. You're just gonna quit your job and do a full online presence after that.
Yeah, there we go.
That's actually that's
the dream. Honestly, doing like a full, like just doing YouTube full time is the dream. But you know, I gotta win the Powerball first because something's got to pay the bills.
Life getting in the way. Yeah, life getting in the way of the dream right now.
I gotta show you guys my self-transforming optimist. You know, so there's got to be things. You know.
Let me see it.
I'm down.
I don't have it yet.
Oh my goodness!
He hasn't bought it yet.
I haven't purchased it yet. I'm not going to say anything about it. All of a sudden I have the self-transforming Optimus, the self-transforming Grimlock, and you know, a Unicron just chilling in the corner somewhere. Like, wait, hold on, where did you get that?
Thinking I was
Miss going to buy a camper and go across the country.
That's a great.
That would be dope. So that's a great idea. Just straight camper vanning across all of the lower 48s. That would be phenomenal. How was the week, you guys? How was everything for you guys? What did you guys end up doing this past week?
Just going to the movies. I seen 2 flicks and I watched Fallout, all of it. And believe it or not, my mom is 82 years old and not into science fiction, but she was captivated. She would not let me not watch the show for 1 second. We had to watch it all one day. That's how good that show is. That my 82-year-old mother, who hates science fiction, was hooked.
My girlfriend, who doesn't play video games whatsoever, she's like, I need to finish this show. This show's got me captivated. So, yeah,
you know,
amazing. What about you, Ashton?
Right, there's one thing Fallout had going for it is the fact that Fallout is not a regular linear game anyway. Now you can play anything, you could do anything. Therefore, the story that they create could be anything, could be any character, which is exactly what they're doing. And even though I'm only on episode 2, I like the way that they're introducing like the knights, the vaulters, the raiders, the surface dwellers. I like how they just, you know,
different types of characters.
They did the one thing that every other video game franchise should have done, which is hire the people that created the game.
You're 100% correct. I said that to my mother, and I said that to my friends who are hooked too. I said the number one thing they did was hire writers from Bethesda who wrote the game.
But here's another thing too. It wasn't just that. It wasn't that they just got Bethesda people to come in and help, but they also got a fantastic showrunner with Jonathan Nolan heading up this project, who's the same guy who did a Westworld, and he has a really good track record of creating some amazing TV shows. So I was watching a stream earlier tonight. One of the guys said, "Oh yeah, it's got some Westworld vibes to it," and I was like, "Yeah, glad you said that because of Jonathan Nolan. Like he actually did and create Westworld, so you do have that Western feel to it with the ghoul. You have that outdoorsy dystopian Western feel to it. So it was a great idea that someone like Jonathan Nolan actually is helming this project.
I'm going to ask you guys, did any of you guys play any of the Fallout games? I've played all of them. And
I played one of them.
You played one of them.
So I'm a
But that's
gamer.
only because I don't like FPSs.
You don't like?
Yeah.
I love FPSs.
I've been gaming since I was a kid. I have like all the important systems except for the Xboxes because I'm not an Xbox person. I even have a fancy PC in which I'm streaming on. It makes me look beautiful here. It's the PC that does it. Never played any of the Fallout games. None of the Fallout games. So you know what I did? You know what I did though? You know what I did? As soon as the show was done, I said, screw it. I jumped on Steam. I picked up Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and New Vegas, and there was a huge sale. I got all three of those games for $12.
There we go.
I got all three. Now that I have a whole lot of gaming coming my way.
You're going to appreciate the show even more. Especially, I don't want to spoil it for anybody out there, but it's going to continue, and it's going to continue just like the game went on. And just to say, New Las Vegas was Fallout's biggest selling game, and they're going to stay there for a while.
I'm excited. They could do plenty good stuff, and that's just for making one decision of hiring the game. Yo, you know what? It also brings up a good, like how shit Halo is. Halo sucks so bad. And part of the reason is that the guys that worked on Halo
hold on, Ashton. Wait. That needs a breaking news. Ashton says Halo sucks.
No, I'm saying it sucks because the people that created the TV show never even played the game and they had no reference point. So what were you doing? And I keep saying this, if these networks and TV people and movie people name these movies differently and these TV shows differently, it would be a hit. If Halo was Alien Vengeance, people might be like, oh, sick, look at this show, Alien Vengeance, because this shit has nothing to do with Halo, right?
I agree.
What Fallout did, and that's why Fallout is going to be lauded, I think, as one of the best to come out, but I don't want people to forget about Twisted Metal, which was equally as good, right?
I still haven't even seen Twisted Metal. I've never played
I might
Twisted
argue
Metal,
with you on that one a little bit.
I like Twisted Metal.
The cast of Twisted Metal is a little lacking.
But there was no actual story with Twisted Metal. It was just a car driving game.
Yeah.
And going back to Ashton's point about bringing in developers and writers of the video game in order for them to run the show. Remember Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme? What happened there?
That was sick.
Look, we're not talking about the stuff that happened in the 90s, okay?
R.I.P. Raul Julia.
But you know the gaming world, Bungie created Halo, and then Bungie got sold, and then Bungie got sold again, and then Microsoft bought it, then Microsoft sold it again. So the people that created Halo aren't even there anymore to do anything to help the television show itself. I think that's why it's lacking, because it doesn't have anybody from Bungie there to do any of the writing or even to correct the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
I didn't watch any of the Halo, and I didn't care.
You didn't care about Halo? Well, you probably didn't have an Xbox back then.
I cared about Halo. The first season, I didn't like it that much because they went into too much about Master Chief having feelings and whatnot. And Master Chief doesn't have any feelings. Master Chief is Master Chief, and what Master Chief does is kill things. And that's what it should have been about. Bingo.
Look, this is a family show. I don't think you should be using the words master and chief all in the same sentence like so often. It throws people off.
Told you that guy wanted to fuck me.
Whoa. Red.
Family.
Come on, Red. Why?
Oh, what?
Welcome to this.
I lost my train of thought completely after that.
Oh my god!
You guys watch Fallout to completion? Everybody else?
I have.
Yeah,
yes, I have.
I did.
Oh, let's. I haven't watched it, so go ahead and just discuss the first episode. Like, what did you guys enjoyed about it, and give us a little, at least a rundown of what happened.
Well, let's let Asher go first because he's a guest. So go for it. Tell us what
All
you thought
right.
about the first couple episodes.
Okay, so the first episode, everything was going. I liked it. I like the setup. Um, the brother goes off by himself and discovers, that vault was raided, and those guys were raiders, right? The Moldova people, right? But the violence in the show is visceral, gory, but tasteful. There was this one scene where, like, the best friend of the lead female character, she's fighting somebody, and that guy grabs a fork and slams her face into the fork, right? But she doesn't die. She just grabs it and she kills the guy, which is what somebody hopped up on adrenaline in that moment would do, I assume, in a life and death situation, right? But it was intense, like gory. It's not overdone, but it's tastefully done.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I thought the first two episodes, they led you, for somebody who played the game like me, I'm going to speak in my mom's behalf, of somebody who doesn't play games, who doesn't like sci-fi. It gave you the storyline to keep the ball rolling, that you wanted to know what was going to happen next, that you had to know what was happening next, and you fell in love with the main three characters. So I think that the three character driven storyline kept it compelling throughout, and it keeps it compelling throughout the whole 8 episodes of the first season.
Does the game play like that? Does the game play like you could have a band of people together?
The game doesn't really play like that, but the game has so many individual characters throughout the game that it keeps the storyline compelling. Because when you're walking around the wasteland, you're either going to meet somebody terrible that's wants to kill you, or you're going to meet somebody that needs your help. And it's up to you to find out what you want to do. You can either blow their heads off or stop and listen to their story and their life story and be a part of their story too. So I think that's how the game plays, and I think how this kind of played too, because the girl who plays Lucy, her last name is Parnell, who her father's in the show, is the one-eyed vault dweller leader. She runs into people and she wants to be a part of their story. She doesn't want to just off them or whatnot. So I think that just shows some humanity in a post-apocalyptic world that's 200 years old.
So let's get back to the actual theme of the show. Is like, I can't say it's steampunk. Would you say it's like retro modern?
It's definitely retro modern, and the game is the same way.
Dystopian Western. I would say more of a future dystopian Western, based off of how it's being shot. Because there's a lot of outdoors, a lot of dirt, a lot of sand, a lot of broken down buildings in between. But it's
the 50s. It's the 50s and the two. What do you mean? It is the 50s.
Nope. Here's the thing. When the bombs dropped and we see them in the opening scene, that's not 1950. That's technically around 2077. But the design of that era was very futuristic 50s. So the design of the beginning of the show, Red, is what people in the 50s imagined the future would have been. But in the game or in the show, it is the future. It is the year 2077. So
you're talking about like Jetsons kind of feature?
Very Jetsons-ish, yes, because they do have like a robot in there, but yet they have a CRTV, like an old school tube TV, right? There's no iPads, but there is this contraption that's
a Pip-Boy.
Yeah, the Pip-Boy doesn't happen until later on. It was introduced in 2077, but not a part of the opening scene with a family party that's happening. So it's almost like it's in its own genre. Like I said, but it's what the people in the 50s thought the future was going to look like. Very Jetsons.
I agree. And the gameplay is the same thing.
Same kind of vibe.
The same vibe.
You don't like the slow motion, just like the game. You could target parts of people. You know what I mean? You don't have to just fire at them. And
Yeah, you could shoot their leg off, like the ghoul, like a feral ghoul.
in
You'd
episode
shoot
2,
their legs off, and they couldn't do anything. They were useless.
that was episode 2 with the ghoul, sick. Not to mention, I personally love Walter Goggins as an actor. So anything I see him in, I always kind of like gravitate towards it because he's fun like that.
So you're saying the game is a first-person shooter? Is the show depicting
No.
a first-person shooter?
No. It's not set up as a first-person shooter. It's set up. The game is really a third-person shooter RPG. So
Wait. I thought it was a first-person shooter RPG because I know I've touched on. I know I've kind of dabbled with the Fallout 3 a little bit, and it was from the first-person shooter perspective. Isn't that how all of the games are?
no, they jump back and forth. You can actually set it up as a
Oh,
third-person shooter and like see your character, your waist,
Riding
your
horses and
vault,
stuff.
your vault line shooting from the third-person perspective too. That's how I
Okay.
played the game.
Hey,
As a third person.
James. What's up, James? Big up, James.
Yeah, I know the original Fallout 1 and 2. It was more of like a
Hello there.
top-down, very similar to like a dungeon crawl.
Yes,
It was
correct.
like almost like a dungeon crawler, almost like a 3/4 angle type top-down game. I never played any of those. That wasn't my kind of gaming. But when they switched everything over to what Fallout was, that's when I jumped into FPS games.
Yo, I used to play Fallout Mobile more than the actual game, to be
Oh,
honest.
the vault game.
Yeah,
right?
that Vault game. I love that. That game was so much fun. I mean, it was really
Can I compare it to like an old GoldenEye kind of setting at first-person shooter?
No. I wouldn't say a GoldenEye. I would say if you want to go true first person, Halo's a true first person shooter.
Okay.
This one is not like that. You don't see yourself kind of walking through the character's eyes. You see it more through the third person's eyes.
Hello there.
Brother John.
Let's see.
Brother John. All up in here. I love it. Thanks for coming by, Brother John.
And Jim says the reason I own Xbox is a flaw in Oblivion. Well,
Yeah, I agree.
Oblivion-
Oblivion is my all-time favorite game, and then comes Skyrim.
I'm sorry,
Oblivion
Brother
had that
John.
game
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, if you
both
were
are.
riding a horse, or if you wanted to switch to third person, you could. Just like in the Fallout game. But
So
Yeah.
going back to Fallout though, going back to the show, and I know Ashton's gotten on to episode 1, dealing with episode 2 right now. It's a great premise, Red, because it starts off, people are living in these vaults after a nuclear explosion, actually after a nuclear attack.
Holocaust.
And we're not sure who did. We find out later on, but at the beginning we don't know who shot first. There was a lot of talk about communists, and you have the idea that it was the Russians that attacked and whatnot. So to preserve America, people started moving into these vaults. Now our characters, the one that we get introduced to, the main one, Lucy, she's a part of vault number 33. There's 31, 32, and 33, and they're interconnected in a special way. You find out about that a little bit later on, but in this life that they're living, they're good, clean, wholesome. Lucy doesn't cuss. Lucy's a good girl. Lucy's the daughter of the head person there, and they're trying to get her arranged in a marriage with someone from Vault 32. And then Vault 32 comes over. Yes, thank you. We have this person who you can marry, yada, yada, yada. But you find out it was a trick because people coming in from Vault 32 end up attacking people in Vault 33. You find out that they're not from Vault 32. They're actually what they call raiders. They came from the above world. They're like, rabble, we want your head guy because he's done things, and we're gonna kidnap him. And that's kind of the premise of the movie. Rabble, and that's kind of what the premise of the show is. It's Lucy going over to find where her dad is, and that's where the adventure is. But then you run into two other main characters. One of them is the ghoul, which is the guy that you see with the missing nose, and then another one is Maximus, who ends up taking one of those big suits. But you find out what happens with them later on. Show's great. It's got 3 stories, but the main overarching story of the first season was Lucy needs to go get her father. Where is he? And she's got to do all these crazy things to go find him. And that's pretty much the premise so far from the beginning of the
vaults are actual like communities on different sides of the I guess the location, and then these vaults they fight amongst each other for resources. Is that correct?
No,
No.
that's incorrect.
They live.
actually
The vault people
grow.
live peacefully
Yeah.
together,
Mhm.
but raiders break into a vault to raid everything and eat the people too, right? But that's what raiders do. It's just like it's like thieves. So they just come in and thief everything inside your vault.
It's
Your
pretty
guns,
much rich people.
food,
Rich
everything.
people are in the vault, and poor people are outside. Well, poor people get desperate. They try to break into where
That
the
is
rich people
correct.
are at.
That is
And-
more the premise.
Class warfare.
Yeah, and it's fantastic how it's set up. Absolutely fantastic how it's set up.
It's definitely the have and the have-nots, and that's another premise of the thing. People in the vault are one vault 4 is all full of scientists, and they do weird stuff, and they did weird stuff, and there's thousands of vaults throughout the world, throughout America, and Fallout 4 is like Vault 103, and this one is 31, 32, and 33, and they show four. So it shows like, the people that got to go in the vaults were either famous, rich, or politicians, or they had some kind of reason to go, like all scientists.
They have influence in some field that is needed.
So I'm guessing I'm watching the family of silver spoons in one vault, and we're just gonna traverse their everyday problems. Is that what it is?
No, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be traversing the everyday problems, because the main problem is someone was kidnapped. Their main person was kidnapped, and the main person's daughter leaves the vault to go find him. And they're like, no, it's a very dangerous area out there. Don't go. Leave.
But you're saying,
And then that's where
vault. If the poor people can get in the vault, they're somehow made out to be the antagonist of the show.
Yeah. And keep in mind what you just said. They're made out to be the antagonist. We'll leave it at that right there, because as the show progresses, it's great, because as the show progresses, you start off thinking one thing, and then by the middle, you're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure. And then towards the end, it completely flips on you, and you're like,
we're right there.
Fuck them.
Okay.
It's fantastically written. It's only 8 episodes. They're about an hour each, and each episode is worth it. It's not like there's filler episodes. It's 8 hours of pure enjoyment with this show.
Does this cover the first game?
So
the first and the second game coming up will be Fallout 4 New Las Vegas. So you get the first 2 games. I think they're going to just wipe 3 out, because 3 is a completely different kind of feel to it. So I think they're going to go 1, 2, 4 New Las Vegas, and then I guess they're going to go 76. I'm assuming.
Now, what I was told from some other friends is that this show follows Fallout 4 more, touches base on Fallout 1, but at the end of this season, you'll see that they introduce New Vegas, which is another game. So it's kind of, according to the gaming nerds, they did a good job with it. They're following the lore perfectly.
They're definitely following the lore.
But it's also different enough from the game so that people who have not played the game can still follow, which is why people like Mimi and Erica and your mom are like loving the show, because it does introduce a video game world to people who don't know this game in a way that they will understand without needing to go play a video game.
My mom said the show is easy to digest, and I like that, because it is easy to digest.
Easy to digest, like a Taco Bell meal, right?
Yeah.
No. You just wanted to use the bell. You just wanted to.
Well, why did I say yes? Because I know he wanted to use the bell.
Wanted to use the bell.
You had enable red, man. You have to enable red. With soundboard.
Yeah, remember, there is still this button that's hanging out here that you could it's used. Where's that special button? That button's at your disposal.
There we go. We lost all 3 of our listeners.
Viewers.
That's fantastic. But yeah, Red, you really should watch it. It's one that I really do think the guy should watch. It's totally worth it. Fantastically written, well acted, great pacing. Pacing was great. pacing is perfect. It gives you just enough, takes away, gives you just enough, takes away, and then it slaps you in the face with some action and it takes away. But like there's a good back and forth. There's a good, okay, let me rest from this. All right, let's follow Lucy. Okay, cool. Let's follow Maximus. Oh, dude, now we got to follow Cooper's Ghoul. And it just does a great job of interacting, intertwining, and switching the stories back and forth. And then it does come together. It comes together perfectly at the end. So it does feel like three different stories towards the beginning, and then you see how they get intertwined towards the middle, and then you see how it comes together perfectly at the end.
So when it's following the source material, right? And when it gets down to the later seasons where they're already caught up, do you think that that's when they'll end it, or they'll just start making shit up?
No, with enough lore out there with the video games and with the introduction of the next game at the end of this one, no, they have a lot to play with. There's a lot to play with. And then on top of that, this story, though you find out, let's just say this, the first arc is done. The first arc of this story is done. And now the next season is going to be definitely the second arc, because you're like, oh, I got to find Dad. And then at the end, and then now it's a matter of like following people.
Misso wanted to know the difference between Halo and Fallout. That you can't compare. They're apples and tomatoes. That's all I can say about that.
Halo is an example of doing something bad, and Fallout is an example of doing something excellent.
Okay, yes. How about where does Last of Us land in that?
Oh, that's
Last of Us fits in really good.
That's really probably good. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as video game
adaptations
go, it would go Last of Us first and then Fallout. Fight me. I will punch anyone in the face. Wow, I will stand behind that right there. But
I would just flip it around. I'd say Fallout, then
Last of Us first, and then Fallout, hands down. However,
Ashton's disagree.
I'm disagreeing too.
Fallout does a great job as a TV show. And I know they both touch upon the gamers very well, but enough so that the gamers are like, oh, and the people who are still watching, they're like, this show is still great, But to me, Last of Us first, and then Fallout.
Ashton, what's your rebuttal?
Honestly, I don't know.
Ashton's wrong, so I'm gonna go.
I don't know what Iman remembers about Last of Us, the game, but that show, while good, is, in my opinion, nothing like the game. For me, I just want to put that out there. People may disagree. And if we're talking about game to TV adaptation, I would put it under Fallout, because Fallout is just too non-linear to lock it down to it should be like this. Whereas Last of Us is linear, so there's always going to be it should be like this attached to that kind of property.
I agree 100% with what you just said.
They did give us that one episode with the couple. It was all about them. And that had nothing to do with the game, and that did break away from the linear aspect of what The Last of Us was. But it's also similar in the sense that they had to get from point A to point B. Same thing with Fallout. Lucy has to get from point A to point B. So there's a linear aspect to what Lucy's story is, in contrast to what Joel and Ellie had to do. So there's
the game has no linear aspect. The game is a sandbox.
Okay, they're talking about fictional characters.
So what's saying is anything can happen now. So any story is good story. Right?
That's why Red asked the question, will it kind of end? There's no way it can end, because in the game, there's so many characters that could take over the story, and the story could go that way. There's super ghouls that they kind of touched on that they haven't even got to yet, and wait till the super ghouls come into the game, into the storyline too. So they could run Fallout, depending on, like, I wouldn't say like The Walking Dead, for 10 years and never even touch all the characters that are in the games.
I hope it doesn't go for 10 years. I really don't. Four seasons is fine. I'm very much okay with the 4 to 5 season show.
We should like the Western world, because I don't think England is in the Western world. I could be wrong, but I think they're in the Eastern Hemisphere. But anyway, we could take a lot of good lessons from British like media. They'll do a show, 2 seasons, it's done. That show is never coming back. You know what I mean? But in those 2 seasons, they've told such a complete story that you feel that closure from it, right? And what you just said about Walking Dead went on too long. And because it went on so long, it got worse and worse as time went by.
Watch what you say. Actually, we have a big Walking Dead fan here.
If Red is a big fan, he could.
I'm a huge fan. I think I'm a bigger fan than Red. I think what happened was people got tired, and then the people stopped watching it. I don't think the story never changed. The story was always the same story. The story continues on. And all the spinoffs, the stories never changed too. There was still, I always say The Walking Dead had nothing to do with zombies. You could have put a hurricane or a tornado and it'd been the same thing. There's good guys and bad guys, and then there's this thing that's stopping everybody from doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
True.
Source material is different from the show.
From everything.
I think we were just oversaturated with Walking Dead.
Better.
We're oversaturated.
We're just nerding about it. We're just being nerds. This is what nerds do, right?
Exactly.
They're
They
never
complain.
gonna be happy
They
when
complain.
They get what they want. They're never gonna be happy.
Exactly.
Yes!
You said the truth. That should be a breaking news right there, what he just said.
Hold on. Breaking news.
Nerd news. Happy.
All the nerd wars. That was nerd wars.
We're happy, just in case you guys didn't know. But yeah, Red, highly recommend. Fallout, fantastic show for gamers and non-gamers alike. It's worth a shot. Matter of fact, it's one of those things that Mimi, Eric, and I like. We finished it today. We restarted it all over again today, just to be like, all right, let's take a look at the clues. And I've never really done something like that. I did that with Game of Thrones. Like, hold on, what did we miss? We went back and watched it. We're like, okay, that's what we missed. That's what she meant.
Easter eggs that you guys looking out for from the game.
No. Again, I've never played the game. It's more along the lines of plot points that they touch upon later on in the season. When we go back, we're like, oh, that's what she meant. Oh, that's what he meant. Oh, that's what that. Okay, so it was one episode. I did one episode. I think the girls are like on their second episode right now, and they're like, yeah, we missed this, or that's what they were talking about. It's definitely one of those shows where you want to go back and watch one more time to catch what you didn't.
Well,
I am very interested in learning the ghoul's complete story in the show, and that is actually my driving force in watching it. Right, I personally hate Maximus's character already, but that's just me. And I need to know what happened to the dog as well.
To what?
What happened to the dog?
Yeah, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
There's a dog?
Yeah.
Well, in the game, your companion is a dog.
It's a dog, right? Yeah.
You can have a dog as a companion. You can have a super ghoul as a companion, or you can have one of those T40s as a companion in the game.
Well, that's the mix two, right? A T40 and whatever that controller on the arm, the whatever.
That's a pit boy. That's a pit boy.
Yeah, pit boy. Okay.
Well, I saw the dog died, and then it got a stim pack, so it was alive.
Well, the dog died.
So
the dog died, and the stim pack brought it back.
Happen.
Well, I don't want to mess up the story, so I'm not going to say, but that's what stim packs do.
Nice.
Well, going back to Ashton's point about learning from the British and then having a complete season, or not complete season, a complete story within like a certain amount of seasons. Good example of that is Breaking Bad, right? It all ended in 5 seasons instead of just dragging it another 3 or 4 more.
Did it end really in 5 seasons? I know it was like season 5A and 5B. I still feel like it was 6 seasons. I really do. But I hear it. I get it.
Well, another great movie I seen this weekend. I seen a sneak peek, The Ministry of Gentleman Warfare, a Guy Ritchie film. So far, that's the best movie of the year in my thing. So I hope everyone can go out there and see that. I'm not going to say anything about it, but please.
I love Guy Ritchie, so you don't have to convince me.
Yeah, I absolutely love Guy Ritchie.
I need no convincing when Guy Ritchie's name is involved.
But okay, like Guy Ritchie's middle movies were kind of like okay. Hell's Aladdin was terrible, but that was more of a Disney movie rather than a Guy Ritchie movie.
A Guy Ritchie, a Madonna movie.
The Madonna movie.
What was that one called? Some about a beach or some shit like that. I didn't watch that one. I was like, Madonna's in it. I'm not in it. But like Snatch is my all-time favorite Guy Ritchie movie. But the
Lock, Stock,
Gentleman,
and Two Smoking Barrels.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is phenomenal. That's probably number 2 or number 3. The Gentleman is also like a fan. Like that's a movie that's on rotation over here. Like whenever Mimi and I were here at the house, we're like, what do we watch? I don't know. The Gentleman? Fuck yeah, dude.
Is Guy Ritchie the British version of a Quentin Tarantino?
Yes.
Yeah. He had that kind of status and he culty like that too. Like cult following hardcore.
Yeah, I would say if we're gonna go like that, if we're talking like cult following, yeah, totally. Because I'm totally, enthralled.
I think most Guy Ritchie fans are probably Tarantino fans as well, or they like Tarantino movies minimum.
I like Tarantino movies. I'm still more of a Guy Ritchie guy myself. Like even Bullet Train, which is not a Guy Ritchie movie, felt very Guy Ritchie-ish, which is why I enjoyed that movie a lot too.
Yeah,
I think it was Matt Vaughn. I think that was Matthew Vaughn who did Bullet Train, same guy who did Kingsman.
But anybody else does a movie in that style, it would be called a Guy Ritchie movie. Regardless who did it, they'd be like, yo, that movie is sick. And then if they don't know who wrote it, who directed it, they will leave there thinking, yeah, Guy Ritchie. That was all Guy Ritchie. I was amazing.
I agree 100%. How they use all these huge actors and just give them bit parts in there, and that bit parts make the whole movie. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Guy Ritchie also did the Arthur movie with the guy from Sons of Anarchy as well, not so?
Yeah, that was The Gentleman. He was on there.
No. It's a movie about King Arthur.
Yeah.
I heard that one was bad too, but I also heard that one was very similar to how his Disney movie was ran, whereas he was the director, but it wasn't his movie. It wasn't his story.
I really like that movie. I don't know about other people. I really liked it.
I should probably watch it.
At the end of the day, it's fantasy stuff, right? I mean, it must have mythical fantasy, crazy shit in it.
It's also out of his element, because when I think Guy Ritchie, I think Cockney accents, I think wittiness, I think heist is involved.
All right,
I think
you're gonna get all of that. You get all of that in this Arthur movie too. There's all of that stuff happening in this too.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll have to watch.
What did you say? Cockney? Did you say Cockney?
I did say
Cockney.
Cockney.
All right.
Hey, you're not supposed to tell my secret, okay? That's my secret.
Cockney. It's not right. That's not a knee.
Cock to the knee.
All right.
That's not a knee. What's on my back? It's a knee. That's not a knee. Yes, I agree with Mark. Also, Man from U.N.C.L.E. was also a fantastic Guy Ritchie film. That was great. That was with Superman too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Superman.
He's the star. He's the star of this movie too, and he plays "quote unquote" what ends up Ian Fleming. I can say this without ruining the show. What Ian Fleming ended up writing James Bond from this character that is in this movie. That's played by Superman.
Wait,
I'm not about the Circum guy here. Yeah, maybe you should kick him out. If you're a Chiefs fan.
That's my boy Marcus. What's going on, Marcus? That's my Kansas City Chiefs fan right there.
Erroneous on both counts.
Guys, right? Let me know if this movie's on your to watch list. The Secret Society of Magical Negroes.
Yeah,
that's your watch list.
Hold on,
have you guys heard of this movie?
I haven't heard of this movie.
It's a real movie.
Let me pull it up. It looked pretty good. Let me pull up the trailer while you guys talk about it. Go ahead, keep talking, and then give me.
I don't know anything to talk about it.
Honestly, other than the name, which I thought was absolutely crazy, I know nothing about this movie. And when I watched the trailer, I was like, nothing magical is happening here. This L name for this movie is horrible. Why would you name it this?
Is it the story of Kanye West?
No. That's David Alan Greer in it. That's all I know.
I was being funny. Wow.
That's
You're
actual
flick. All right, let's take a look at this trailer for the American Society of Magical Negroes.
And this guy, isn't it? He's a good actor.
American Society of Magical Negroes.
I know you can feel their discomfort, Aaron. Watching you walk through a room full of white people was the most painful thing I've ever seen.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't want to take you to a job interview. There's a recruiting class starting right now, and we got to get you in it.
Welcome to the American Society of Magical Negroes.
I don't really understand.
It's easier to say. What's the most dangerous animal on the planet?
Shark.
White people, when they feel uncomfortable. White people feeling uncomfortable precedes a lot of bad stuff for us. That's why we fight white discomfort every day. Because the happier they are, the safer we are.
The name needs a little updating, maybe like magical black people, or I guess that doesn't have the same ring.
You ready?
Oh, wow.
Your first client is a Jason Munn. His morale is far too low.
Hey.
Hey.
Darn it. I was hoping there was a station right next to him.
Oh, is this one spoken for?
No.
Yeah, it's actually fun and weirdly relaxing. It's like being a secret agent with none of the danger.
Hey, I'm Lizzie.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
She's great.
Yeah, she's cool.
You kidding? Come on, man. She's smart and funny.
I know what you were doing going on about her. You're trying to set us up.
No. That's not what I was doing.
You cannot have a relationship with Lizzie now. Because if you don't put Jason first, everyone's magic will fail.
I've always felt like it's my job to make white people feel comfortable, and here it literally is. But maybe it shouldn't be.
I got a great plan to ask her out, but I'm gonna need your help.
Do you think you could like work your magic?
Hey, is he talking about me?
Hey.
Oh my, wait, are you?
But I've traveled a long way. Someone defied the society. Who was it?
You didn't let her go like I told you. If you interfere with her or your client, you could have your memory erased. You won't even remember she existed.
Even though we might never see each other again, I need you to know that what we had was real.
I'm curious to see how you gonna make it out of all this.
Oh, it's already in the theaters. March 15th.
I thought I had a vibe of the Black Klansman, but it's like it's a comedy. It's a romantic comedy.
Right.
It's a romantic
Now
comedy.
let's go back to what I said earlier in the episode. The naming of things is very important, right?
Right.
And
Right.
the name of this movie could have really used some help, because I don't know what you guys think after you watch the trailer.
I think it should be called something I love magic or in love with magic or something like that. Yeah. It has nothing to do with what the title has anything to do. You think something else completely.
That he has to deal with, which is like the Ministry of Magic of Harry Potter. But now it just seems like if he breaks the rules, that he won't have his powers. Is that what it is? That's what I'm getting at.
Well, it said he'd be
his
erased.
memory erased apparently.
Erased.
But like the concept of the movie, the concept of the movie is what's wrong with the movies these days. In my opinion, right? That coming from a fella in the islands, right? My opinion on that is that it's crazy to put a movie out like that without expecting any kind of weird reactions from the general public, right?
Like if they were planning on attracting more than just Black folk to watch the movie, the title itself is already discouraging other races from checking it out. Is that what you're trying to?
That's one thing, and I don't like the concept of the movie being that, okay, so we are magical Black people doing magic, and the main focus of our magic is
Just to
make
please white people. Just to
That
please white
shit-
people.
That is crazy. That is the concept of your movie. Get magical.
something?
Is that all they're good for? Is that all the magic good for?
And I wonder if it was written by a black man. It seems to be written by a white guy.
That.
Illegal
I
look.
don't know.
So you're saying that all black, well, in this movie, that Black people are like the WB frog and are just that magical like little, you know,
No,
it's
we
helped by people.
no, but we can't speak to that because all we watched was a trailer, right?
Right,
But
right,
based
right,
off
right.
the
We're just
trailer,
guessing.
I could never see myself saying I feel comfortable going to watch this movie. Like, hey guys, jump in the car. We're gonna go watch The Society. Let's go.
You know what? And that's probably why we didn't see it being advertised in on TV, at least not a lot, because of the name. From Mark here, they thought they were being clever with an old trope. Bagger Vance, Song of Truth, Key and Peele. Key and Peele made the entire movie in a hilarious skit years back. So you could probably say that it's similar to like Get Out, but happy and more.
You know, at the end of the day, to really know, right, you'd really have to sit down and give the movie a shot.
The problem is, even if we gave it the shot, it's not in theaters no more because it said released the 15th of March. I go to the movies a lot because it's one of my favorite passions to do. I have not seen it on a marquee. I didn't even see a trailer played for it at the theater. So how can I go see it when it's not even there to even critique it?
It could be streaming now.
Yeah, I know what you guys talking
Name
about.
damaged it more than it should have. I think that I believe that.
So hey, I gotta
I
get
agree.
going, you guys. The kids are home. They came home a little bit early, so I'm gonna jump off. So have fun. Thanks for having me. Love you guys.
Thanks, E.
Take it easy. And I just saw Dune 2.
I'm so old that I actually seen the original Dune 1 and 2 in the theater.
Okay, so what's your perspective on this one compared to back in the day then?
Well, CGI is so much improved, and they don't have to use practical,
Well, not for going CGI, but story wise, do you think they kept true to source, or do you think they diverted from it?
I think this one is more epic. If you're asking my personal opinion, I like since I'm so old, of course I'm going to like the original one because it's the original one. But this one is more epic than the original one. It's just the scope of the whole product that is more epic than the original ones because again, CGI and all that, cinematography and all that has improved over 40 years or whatever it is. But I because I like Sting and I liked all those actors that, well, Sting was an actor, he's a singer, but I mean, I like those actors who were in there in the original one. And
no, and correct me if I'm wrong, the dad in Fallout is not Paul Atreides from Dune 1, the original.
He is. You are correct.
Oh, look at that. Look, we just tied Dune and Fallout together there.
Wow, nice.
Same guy. There you go.
Well, okay, we'll go back to the magical Negro movie. It's written by, according to Mark, written by Kobe Kiwi, not a white person. So it says, I still like the 80s Dune, but looking forward to seeing the new one. Mark says the David Lynch Dune is ass. It's okay to say it. Lynch is a self-indulging oddball. And the 80s Dune was a rough for its time, too.
Well, taste differs, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion and their feelings on how they feel about things.
And we go back to what you said earlier, nerds are made to complain.
There you go. That's what we do, right?
That's what
all right.
No, that was the whole
hate Masters of the Universe, the movie, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, Cisco and Ebert made a business out of it to complaining about movies and rating them. That's what we're doing.
And we trying to do the same over here, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
but just nerd culture, guys.
This nerd culture, that's great.
Nerd culture.
Nerd culture.
Every movie.
So, anything else?
I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to X-Men '97.
All right, let's wrap it up with that one. Let's wrap it up with that one. Yeah, let's go. You got it.
Again, I have this huge problem with us, meaning nerds, complaining about the artwork. And I don't.
Oh, you're talking about me?
Well, no, I don't like the artwork either. But now that I've watched several episodes, it's story driven, just like Fallout. The story's what's compelling, and I like it. I like that Sebastian Shaw is back in it, and I like the Hellfire Club, and I like all this. I like Mr. Sinister. I want more of this.
Of course, and given what happened on episode 5, we're not going to spoil it for everybody, but there was a major event that happened. It definitely, the guys know what they're doing when they're writing the episode. Granted, the acting, it sounds like, they're emoting too much. Like feels like they came from the Shatner school of acting. And the animation is always going to be weird to me, but yeah, story wise, it's top notch. That keeps me keeps my attention to just keep on going and watching the rest of the show. Well, what about you, Ashton?
I like it. I have one problem.
Okay, let's hear it.
Mark.
All right. So firstly, we get super sick Cyclops finally doing the leader Cyclops things that we know from the book way before the cartoon, right? Because in the cartoon, in the original, they made him a cuck, more or less.
Right.
In my eyes, right? So we uncucked him, right, for this, just to recuck him when the real Jean Grey came back and she's getting all emotional. I was like, yo, this cannot be real. What are they doing?
Well, they had to establish him as the
Why
leader.
are you doing this to my boy Scott again? Why? Pressurizing me, man. And I haven't seen episode 5 as yet. It hasn't updated in Trinidad as yet. But I've heard that Gambit is gonna do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently. But also, why we having Magneto pulling up on Rogue right in front of the man's face, boy? Like, come on, man. What's going on? Why we doing this like Gambit?
That's gonna play in episode 5. You just gotta go wait for it. But there's a reason to that madness, and you'll see it. But as far as your comment of recucking Cyclops, I didn't know that they were gonna bring Madeline Pryor into the mix. That was like complete surprise for me.
From the time I realized, well, I mean, but you read, right? So you know that their original kid is with Madeline Pryor.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
I was just waiting for Sinister to pop out, I was like, yo, Sinister's gonna be the main villain in this thing. Boom, bam, Bob's your uncle, Sinister talking to her in her head. I was like, there we go. Goblin Queen. I see all of this stuff, and my wife watching it with me, and she's like, why do you know all this stuff? It's so weird. I was like, nah.
So if you're weird, I'm weird, because I know all this stuff too.
Yeah, this weird life now. But yeah. So it was but the art is, I know what you guys are saying when you talk about the art. It looks wonky at sometimes, right? But that's because they're trying to preserve that old look, but they're trying to introduce modern frames in it as well. And I think they're just getting it a little mixed up in the middle somewhere. Like it's not translating the best. But that fight scene with Madeline Pryor was sick. You guys remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
That fight scene was animated amazingly. But yeah, it was good. I like it. I really like it.
We grew up with anime. You figure, like, if you're gonna have this property in a cartoon form, that you would think that is more anime versus an American animation, like
Chungo.
That's what they're trying to do, Red. They're trying to like meld that anime action sequences with that American art style vibe.
Yeah,
but it not meshing. They're not finding it where they need it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we could always complain about the animation, but the story wise is top notch.
Story slapping so far, in my opinion.
Top notch.
And they'll probably bring back the original showrunner, because it's actually garnering a lot of attention and praise. So we don't even know why they fired the guy in the first place. So,
but the mouse can do anything the mouse wants to do too, so that has a lot to do with it.
We'll figure it out more when Ashton. We'll bring Ashton on board again when he sees episode 5. Then we'll do a full review. Hopefully and we'll keep this going on Sundays. Ashton, you cool to join us on Sundays if you want?
Sundays is way better for me. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, it depends if Miss So and the team in the chat don't mind, then yeah, I'll come through.
Hey, let's do this.
Well, let's ask Miss So. Miss So, is it okay with you?
It's okay. We
still
bring back
there?
the questionable nerd.
We gotta check all the boys and them. We gotta check with Legion of Comics, guys. Legion of Comics, great stuff on the YouTubes. If ever you'll get a chance,
Yeah,
subscribe to Marky Mark.
Great conversationist. This so says go for it.
No,
All right.
Right. So we get approval from the CEO of the villains, Miss So say so. So that was 3 souls at once. Miss So say so.
Miss So says so. So
there you go.
It is done. It is said because
Done.
this is the way. Well, we have some other stuff on the docket here, but I think we went over our original time set. But we'll table that for the next discussion. Guys, Ashton, where can people reach you right now as far as like the socials? Where can they find you?
Yo, realistically, reach me here on Sunday.
Because
ooh, I like that.
I'm slacking on everything else. Just reach here on Sunday. You go, yeah, everything here. Don't worry.
And Mike, where can they reach you?
Everywhere but X. And I guess you can add Thread to it because I'm not on X no more, so I use Thread. So Evil Fed Cosplay on every social media. And I always say, love, peace, and cosplay out there.
Guys, thank you for coming and watching with us and joining the conversation. Hit the like and subscribe button and join us again next Sunday. And also join us on other shows here. We'll pop up somewhere else and have discussions with the rest of the community. So have a good night. Have a good weekend. Or good week, actually, work week. And we'll see you again. Peace.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Sealess Villains Podcast, your cultivators of the comic culture. Make sure you follow us on Facebook